I came to know the living Jesus as a young girl, 9 or 10, and I feel like I led a pretty charmed life, not a lot to complain about. I certainly struggled with the temptations of a teenager and a young adult, and after college, I met the love of my life, and we were married, and we very much looked forward to starting a family. And sadly, into a pregnancy, we lost our twins late in the pregnancy, Peter and Elizabeth, who would be 25 years old today. So that was difficult, and Jesus walked beside us throughout that. It was an opportunity for me to reevaluate the Jesus that I had known as a youngster and get to know the living Jesus as a more mature adult. Not just the faith of my family, but my own personal faith. And we struggled with infertility after that point, and 7 years later, our son Weston was conceived. We were in the middle of adoption and some medical treatments, and Weston is certainly an answer to prayer, fervent prayer, and he's an absolute treasure. 12 years later, I probably went through the darkest hours in my life, facing perimenopausal, acute major depressive disorder. And I struggled with terrible anxiety. I didn't want to get out of bed, shades down. The anxiety was unbearable, the insomnia, no appetite. And I remember reaching out physically at one time, asking Jesus, "Where are you?" And he was there the whole time. In fact, I got to the point, though, where I was feeling like I was a failure as a wife, as a mother, and it was a very, very dark time. And thanks to psychological and medical intervention, I am 100% and back to the woman that God created me to be. 3 years ago, my sister, Terry, who is one of my best friends and one of my biggest advocates, was apparently struggling with a similar chemical imbalance, and unfortunately had access to medication and took too much, and which led to the end of her life. So as you can imagine, the guilt, the sadness, the collateral damage that can go along with that. I dream of Terry sometimes, and my last dream, she was beautiful. She was wearing all white and just radiant. I even asked if I could hug her, and I said, "Is it okay to touch you?" And she said, "I've been given special permission." And I hugged her, and I just was in tears, and she said, "You need to let go. I've got work to do." And it was beautiful, and I was glad to have that time with her. She loved Jesus. She knew him as her Savior, and I look forward to being reunited in the heavenly realms. Yeah. When I think of the resurrection story and Jesus ascends, I know that he is sitting on the right hand of God the Father Almighty. And he has shared with us, that he has overcome death. And he speaks specifically saying, "I give you peace, because in this world there will be trouble. But take heart, I have overcome this world." And I'm going to take him at his word.